Hello family, this is Beverly Black and it is Real Talk Wednesday. Come on in the house. Come on, let's gather around, pull you up a chair and let's chit chat for a while. Let's go back down memory lane and see what we can dig up today. I'm so glad y'all came to visit me today. I'm so glad that y'all came on in the house. And everybody, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by and sitting and chatting with me, because you could have been doing something else, but you chose to be in the house with Beverly. And I thank you, because you're all my masterpiece. God made you. You are his masterpieces. So I call you my masterpiece. And you know I love you. You know I love you. Let's go on down memory lane, see what we can come up with today. Well, today I was thinking about when I was a little girl and Mama used to make quilts all the time. Y'all remember that? You had them big, thick quilts on the bed. Well, sometimes they put the quilt, a blanket, a spread, coats, anything they could find, they put on that bed to keep you warm. But I remember these quilts, and Lord, I wish I had one today. If I knew what I know now as a child, I would have kept every one of Mama's quilts. But then I thought they were so ugly. I thought they were ugly, because you know how she made them quilts. Daddy used to go downtown. It was a mill there that he would buy the flour and the cornmeal, and it would be in those big bags. I think they were like 25 pounds or 50-pound bags. And it was the real deal, because when I was a little girl, I didn't like cornbread. I didn't like the taste. It was a strong taste, but it was the real stuff, not processed like it is today. It was real. And Daddy would get the flour and the cornmeal in those bags. Well, when Mama, can't you see them? Those old bags? And when she got through with those, when she emptied it all out, she would cut them into little pieces, and that would be part of her quilt. She would have old dresses, shirts, slips, any kind of garment that she ran across. She would cut it up. See, then they didn't do quilts like they do them now. No, they didn't have quilting clubs and all that. No, she did that by hand with that needle, hand sewing, them little blocks. And that's what I used to think was so ugly, all them different little pieces of material floating around there. And when I would put it on the bed, I wanted to hide the quilt because I was ashamed of everything that was in the quilt. A child's mind. That I wish now I never did it. Because Mama made I don't know how many quilts, and those suckers were heavy. They were the real quilts, and they kept us warm. And also after school, we had a cold house. You know, an old cold house. Was this old house? We're a little like a out storage house now, basically. But Daddy built it. And Daddy built and painted everything by going all over town. When somebody threw something out, piece of lumber or some paint or something, he had a shed in the back for that also, that he put all these different little cans of paint, different color paint. He would pick them up. He said, it might come in handy one day. I can use that sometime. Those were his favorite words. This may come in handy. I'll be able to use this sometime. That sometime never came around. But anyway, he kept it all. But in the cold house, we was an old wood stove, coal stove, whatever you want to call it. But we heated the house with that. And when I got out of school, I had to go and get the coal for the night to keep the house warm. Lord, it was rats in there, looked like cats. They were so big, and I was terrified to go in there. But that was my chore. I had to go get the coal after school to have enough coal to last through the night. At night, Daddy or Mama would fire that coal stove up at the bottom of it. It will be solid red all the way around. I'm surprised our house didn't catch on fire. What I know now, but that was the best heat, and you could sleep so good in that heat. Didn't know they could have burnt everything down with that. And then to top it all, Mama cooked on a wood stove. I'm gonna have a picture in here of one similar to the one that she had, that she used to cook on all the time. I never will forget it. And Daddy bought her an electric stove, but she didn't want to use that. Now the electric stove was on the left side of the room, and the wood cook stove was on the right side. That electric stove looked brand new till the day she died, because she never used it. Even in the summer when she was doing her preserves and stuff, she would fire up that cooking stove. She would fire it up and have the whole house heated up, cooking. But I'm gonna tell you, the best fried chicken, the best pinto beans, white beans, was cooked on that wood stove that she used, that took plenty of men to move it to and fro. She would make them cat head biscuits. They would be like that, the biggest old biscuits. Oh Lord. But Mama could not make oatmeal. Lord, she couldn't make no oatmeal, but she tried. And the coffee back then that she made for Daddy looked like syrup. But that's the way they liked it, so that's all right too. But then when we would go down to the country to see some of Daddy's kin folks, you know the word, kin folks. And we would go and visit them, especially at hog killing time and when they slaughtered the cows and, got the cows ready and stuff. Because that whole little community would come together, and that next morning they would all cook tenderloin, sausages, and stuff like that. Well, I found this picture back in the day of how families not paint, but not wallpaper, but they put newspaper. Anybody remember going to somebody's house and they had newspaper all in the room? That's how they kept out the cold air. They put this newspaper up. I found a picture of that too, so it's right here. Check out this picture. These rooms covered with newspaper. That basically back then, that's how a lot of kids, we would read the funny pages, and everything was on the pieces of newspaper that was on the wall. Didn't know. That's all they had though. That's all they had. And they did the best they could with what they had. But when we had those breakfasts, when they down in the country, when they would kill them hogs and stuff, you talking about some good eating, them fresh eggs, fresh milk, everything. You hear what I say? Everything was fresh. Tastes so good. The best cooking. They would be singing while they were cooking in the kitchen, singing hymnals, old hymn songs. But those old grannies and mothers be in there cooking, have the whole neighborhood stinking. But that was some good times. And that's when people came together and loved each other the way we should now. We back then didn't have much, but they made sure everybody had something to eat. What a blessing. Why can't we be more like that today? Why can't we be more concerned about our brothers and sisters and give a helping hand rather than to talk about them, to bring them down, to lift them up? We got to lift up people. We got to bless people. When you see a need, stand in the gap and be that blessing for somebody. Tell somebody today that you love them. Let somebody know this may be your last time. So be a blessing to somebody. Open a door for someone. Help a senior citizen across the street, or go in the store, or when you see them coming out of the store, help them put their groceries in the car. Just be a blessing any way you can. It does not have to be with money. It's just being who you are and blessing someone else. I'm so glad y'all came by to chit chat with me today on Real Talk. We've had a blessed time, haven't we? I want you to know though, I love you, but God loves you more. Why? Because you are his masterpiece. And our God does not make any junk. And that's why I'm going to call you all now my masterpieces. Not that I made you, but God made you. And he does not fail. Be blessed, everyone, and see you again next week on Real Talk.
Getting ready for my miracle, getting ready for greatness, getting ready for my heart's desire. I'm growing into a flower and glamorous. Getting ready for my miracle, getting ready for greatness, getting ready for my heart's desire. I'm growing into a flower